So just 4 days now until Donald Trump officially becomes the president of the United States. Now, one of the states that helped secure his White House victory was West Virginia. People there believe his policies will boost their local economy, help with the struggling mining industry, and even stem a drugs epidemic. David Foster was in that state. He joins us now from Washington, D.C. So Donald Trump, of course, gained a lot of support in those coal mining communities. David, just how bad was the economy in West Virginia?
Yeah, Shirley, good to see you. It's terrible in West Virginia. What you've got to take into account that is, while people are saying Barack Obama's created 10 million jobs, it's in particular sectors. It's not in the mining industry. 400 mines have closed since 2008, and a lot of those are in West Virginia, which is typical mining territory. Go out there, it's about 250 miles over there. Go out there and you find that people just don't really know what to do. They have to put their trust somewhere, and they are putting their trust in Donald Trump. There was one particular town we went to. It's called Buchanan. My gosh, they've got problems. They're delightful people, extremely helpful, but they don't really know where their next dollar's coming from. It's about 250 miles, as I say, across the river out west of here, and this is what we found.
There is a beautiful bleakness about West Virginia in winter. The mining jobs are gone. The coal seems as empty now as the lives of those once underground workers who see Trump as their only hope.
There's a lot of abandoned mines here in Upshur County.
Nothing left?
Very little, no.
Jerry Arnold works with the mayor of Buchanan, and together they take us to this abandoned tip. Both men are well aware that painful memories will resurface when one particular man takes a seat in Donald Trump's cabinet. He's the man chosen to be Commerce Secretary, Wilbur Ross.
In the early 2000s, Mr. Ross's company, the International Coal Group, bought this mine in West Virginia. In 2005, federal inspectors noted more than 200 safety violations here. By then, International Coal Group had made Mr. Ross more than $200 million. In January of 2006, there was an explosion here, and 12 miners suffocated and died.
After the disaster, an emotional day for the Sago mine families, demanding answers about the tragedy.
It would be 10 years before Dave McCauley became mayor of Buchanan, but he, like so many in the community, was part of the rescue operation.
It's chilling to think that just 11 years ago, that close by, a dozen of our residents lost their lives. And it's also sort of a ghostly kind of a feel that this was such a vibrant place, a lot of activity, so many people worked here, and now there's nothing.
Buchanan is as Trump as it gets. 76% in Upshur County gave him their backing. And it's not just because of the jobs that went, but also because of the despair that arrived in the form of cheap and highly addictive drugs. On the mayor's website, alongside New Year's messages, what they're calling the saddest story in West Virginia. The mayor's son is one of those who's addicted.
Heroin was cheaper than beer.
Oh, it is, absolutely.
So raw are the memories of that January day 11 years ago, you might think that Wilbur Ross would be reviled in this area. A billionaire who gave $2 million to be shared between 13 families. $154,000 for each of the 12 lives lost at the mine and the one survivor. But his past is irrelevant, they say, if he and indeed any of Trump's team can provide Upshur County with a future.
So he's now running a big government department. He's a friend of Donald Trump. Is he a friend to you guys here at all?
He would be deemed to be a friend to many in our community, I suppose, notwithstanding the tragedy.
If mining is resurrected under Trump, and he says he will put the miners back to work, they believe here that jobs could bring prosperity, that added wealth could end the cycle of welfare, drugs, despair, and abandonment.
Yeah, deemed to be a friend. The words of Dave McCauley, the mayor of Buchanan. Their interesting choice of words. This from Wilbur Ross. For the rest of my life, the memory of those who died at Sago will haunt me. That will never go away, he says. And it was extraordinary. We went out there expecting, having been led to believe from newspaper articles we'd read, that Wilbur Ross would be a hate figure out there. They see him and Mr. Trump, perhaps, as their hope, Julie.
Yeah, that's interesting. And we heard Donald Trump say this during his election campaign, that he would make coal great again. The people you talk to, David, do they believe that?
I think it's wishful thinking, Julie, to be absolutely honest with you. There are so many environmental rules that have come in the last 8 years that coal mining it's just not worth it. They've laid people off because it costs them too much to actually get the coal out of the ground. Yes, there's coal there, but is it cost effective to get it out? I think they would like it to be. In many ways, they're looking at other means of earning an income, trying to boost areas like Buchanan with tourism. But then when you have a drug problem, that's another problem.
Indeed. David, good to see you. Thanks very much indeed for that. David Foster in Washington, D.C. there.